Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. Today I want to go over Update 39's release notes, and Update 39 did drop today as of the day I'm recording this, which is July 18th, 2018. And it includes White Plume Mountain and a myriad of other things. I wanted to go through the release notes and just give my initial thoughts and impressions of the update, and just, various thoughts I have on a few things that are included. I'm planning to do another videos on Update 39 once I've had a chance to actually experience all the content and run all the quests, which I have not done yet. So be sure to look out for that. But as of today, I want to just give my initial impressions. Right here at the beginning, it says White Plume Mountain and other tales. So they kind of give a rundown of the highlight of the update, which of course is White Plume Mountain, which is I think it's the 5th classic module that's been introduced into the game at this point. So, as I mentioned before, this is a theme. I mean, clearly players like this, I think it's a great idea for them to keep doing this, and I hope they keep releasing more and more classic modules. It's just a wonderful idea. Everyone likes new content, but if you can introduce new content, that also brings back nostalgia from your really hardcore pen and paper kind of base that plays this game, which there is a lot of really dedicated pen and paper players who play DDO as well. It's even better. So there's no reason for them to not keep doing this, and it's great content. So I hope they keep doing it. But anyways, this particular classic dungeon includes 5 new dungeons and 4 additional all new tales of mad wizards and their works. And one thing to note is that these 5 quests, it's not actually a quest arc. So that's a little bit different. It's not like you have to run the quest in order or anything. It doesn't sound like there's a capstone quest. There's just 5 independent quests, so you can run them, as far as I can tell here, in any order you want. And the quests do take place in the Eberron Hall of Heroes, which is kind of makes, well, it's a lot like, I guess, probably near where like you go to the Temple of Elemental Evil, things like that. I think that's where they've kind of defaulted to put entrances to kind of modules, I guess, that don't really make sense to take to place in like Eberron or Forgotten Realms, although I don't know the lore, so maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, maybe they just put it there just randomly, I don't know, but it seems like that might be a reason. Okay, then they go through like a little poem here, which I'm not going to show or read just for time. If you wanted to read it, you can I'll put the link in the description for the for these release notes and everything. So in the release notes, they give a rundown of the 5 quests, and then they start talking about the Falconry Universal Enhancement Tree. So I haven't done a video on this yet, and I might still do an independent video on the Falconry Tree. But I did want to note that I know that I think a lot of people have kind of ignored the independent enhancement trees, and this is another independent enhancement tree that it's not assigned to any individual class. It's an enhancement tree that can be used by any class, so you don't have to be a particular class to use it. But this tree, more than I think any other of the independent enhancement trees like Harper or Vistani that they've introduced in the past, this one I think is going to be much more useful to many, many more players. There's a lot of really good stuff in here, and a lot of people, a lot of different classes are going to want to splash in here. So take a look at it. It is something that you have to buy separately, even if you're a VIP. VIPs don't get this for free either. They also have to buy it. And they're selling it right now in the DDO store for 1,495 turbine points. And it also includes, when you buy it, it also includes the tree, and it includes a few other little bonus items, which I'll talk about in a second. So that's not just the tree; it's a little bit of fluff items, mostly cosmetics, but it's something else. But the tree will be released, they did mention, separately in the future. And they've done this before, like with Ravenloft, when they offered Ravenloft as part of a bundle and then offered it separately for points. Of course, with Ravenloft, they offered that in the marketplace only. They're not doing that with this. This is offered in the enhancement tree itself. Oh, not in the enhancement tree, in the store itself. But you will have to buy it in the bundle right now if you want it. I don't know how much cheaper it will be if you wait. But judging on how long they waited to put the Ravenloft stuff in separately in the store, you can probably guess that I would expect the Falconry Tree to be sold separately probably in about 3 months, because Ravenloft, if you look at Ravenloft, it was initially released in December of 2017, and it wasn't offered in the store separately for points until March. So you can probably guess they'll probably follow the same pattern. So you can either buy it now as part of this bundle, or if you really want to save 500 points and don't really care about the tree for now, you can probably wait 3 or 4 months and maybe buy this in October or November, I would guess, for a little bit less. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do with that. But definitely check it out, at least look at it and consider buying it if you think it appeals to you. But I think it will appeal to a lot more people, so don't just ignore it just because it's not a tree that isn't specifically for your class that you play. Definitely check it out and see if it's useful for you. Okay, next in the release notes, they talk about Crystal Cove, and they're doing an item update which is coming soon, they've said, and they're going to update all the loot up to, I think, level 35. Is that what they said? Yeah, up to level 35. Well, no, level 35 is the level of the mining challenge. And they'll also let you exchange older versions of the item. So that's good. So there's now a lot more renewed interest in running Crystal Cove. So if you've ignored Crystal Cove in the past, pay attention to when they reopen that. And here is the kind of paragraph as far as the additional bonus items that they're offering as part of White Plume Mountain. So this, again, you have to pay separately. It's not, you have to buy White Plume Mountain plus this if you want the other stuff. But for 1495 turbo points, you get the falconry tree, as I mentioned before. You get 5 XP stones worth 1,000 sentient XP per server, which, if you don't have a sentient weapon leveled up, that's actually a pretty good amount of XP to get you started. When I first saw this, I thought they meant just sentient XP gems just for character XP, and I was like, yeah, who cares, 5,000 XP. But 5,000 weapon XP for sentience is actually pretty good. It's a pretty good way to get started and get a few filigree slots if you haven't really put headway on your sentient weapon. So that's good. And it includes a bunch of cosmetics, like a creature companion and some cosmetic headwear and armor. I know some people will really like that, some people won't care at all. So again, you kind of have to look at what's being offered and kind of judge if it's worth it to you. I'll probably buy it because I want to access I think I want to access the falconry tree now, and the sentient XP, I'm glad it's in there because it's a really nice little bonus that I can definitely use. So I'll probably buy it and support them, but I think they're kind of marketing this as, I think Patrick kind of used this phrasing on DDO cast when I was on there this past weekend, but he kind of labeled it as kind of a mini expansion, which I kind of get that vibe as well. It seems sort of like a mini expansion that they're kind of going for here, and they're marketing as a bonus, so that's cool. I mean, I kind of get where they're coming from. They want to monetize this a little bit more, get a little bit more money, and I'm happy to support them. They did put a lot of work into this update. This is a really big update, so I think it's not unfair for them to sell this stuff as a bonus, kind of as a mini expansion separately, because there is a lot in here. So I'm not going to go through all of the enhancements. There are a lot of little enhancement changes. I'll highlight a few that I think are interesting and notable. Barbarians, if you run a barbarian, definitely check your build a little bit, and just be aware that they've modified how barbarian rage works a little bit. Basically, they've taken a lot of the bonuses from rage, like the critical multiplier bonuses and such, and they've taken them out of rage and just made them passive benefits to barbarians, so you no longer have to rage to get that stuff. So that's good. So you're now going to have to, you now get more DPS when you're not raging, so that's good. And there's a few other changes. A friend needs Berserker, Occult Slayer, and Ravager. They of course, in this pass, they did the Cleric and Favorite Soul, War Priest pass, and they also did a pass on Favorite Soul Healing Tree and Angel of Vengeance. And I did separate videos on the new Favorite Soul Healing Tree, the Beacon of Hope Tree, and I did a separate video on the Cleric and Favorite Soul War Priest trees, just giving my very detailed thoughts on every single part of that. So I'm not going to go over that again, but I will put the video links in the description. You want to check those out. I did very long videos on each of those, so if you want to see me talk about that more, definitely check out those videos if you haven't watched them already. And once we get past the divine passes, they go into these release notes, they go into some of the details of the falconry tree, and I won't go over everything here, but just be aware that with the falconry tree, it's based on having a companion, so a bird companion that basically attacks with you, and it's kind of like having a pet, except they can't be attacked. Like say like the artificer dog or something, it can die, or the druid companion, it can die. But with this new falconry companion, it's like a bird that swoops down and attacks your enemies. So and it can't be hurt by itself. It hurt itself. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of like having a cosmetic companion. It almost sounds like that actually damages things. But there's a lot of really cool stuff in the tree. So again, check it out. There's a lot of neat stuff I think a lot of classes can use. Made a bunch of other little minor changes to fighters, very minor changes to fighters and monks. Mostly like looks like with fighters they made a description change. No, I'm sorry. With fighter, they made just a little fix to their counterattack in Stalwart Defender, and they made a tiny change to Monk, Hench, and Mystic, just with description there. Okay. Some minor changes to Epic Destinies and feats. Now, some deity feats weren't applying their DR bonus properly at level 20, so they fixed that, so that's kind of cool. Okay, let's move on to some item changes. They updated the loot in the House P chain, which is kind of interesting. So definitely check that loot out as something you use a lot. Although it's really old loot at this point, so I'm not sure who will want to use it exactly. Although at level 20, it's still some of it's still pretty good. Like I use the Epic Antique still at level 20. I'm not sure if they changed it till that level, but they made a lot of little changes. So if that's loot you use on one of your characters, maybe one of your lower level characters, maybe check that out. They did add some stuff, which is really cool, to the Mysterious Remnants vendor, which I like because it's mostly cosmetic stuff, but it's really nice to see them continuing to add things to Mysterious Remnants to keep that relevant. So they added some cosmetic outfits, cosmetic helms, cosmetic pets, cosmetic pet trips. So that's kind of cool. I've been a big proponent of them using cosmetics as rewards in the game, and really gearing people to kind of grind to get cosmetics like a lot of other games use. So I'm really happy to see them doing that. I think that's a really good idea, and I think they should do more of that. So bravo for doing that. They made a few monster fixes, nothing too important to mention. They made a few little changes to quests. They did mention in the Black Lock quest, they made a significant visual update to improve performance and aesthetics. I don't know what that means, but they did word it as significant visual update, so it might be worth jumping in there to see what they did exactly. And various other quests were changed, so just check the release notes again if you're interested in seeing that. And that's about it for the quests, or for the update, guys. So it's a lot they packed into the update. They added new enhancement trees. They revamped a bunch of enhancement trees. They added a whole new module. So it's really neat. They revamped Crystal Cove stuff. So they added a new enhancement tree. They've done a lot of stuff here. So it's worth, it's definitely an update. I think it's going to be worth jumping into. I haven't gone through the gear yet in White Flame Mountain to see if it's good or not, but their classic modules always tend to be really good. Their last classic module, Ravenloft, was amazing. So I'm really interested to seeing how good this one will be. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it, I think, for today, for just my general thoughts. So again, guys, the update's out, so go check it out. Have some fun. I'll see y'all next time. Have a good one. Take care.